Hello, everyone. This video is live, but I'm sure you'll be watching it afterwards. So I wanted to come on here real quick because the government of Canada just released some breaking news for the Canada Caregiver Pilot Program. So they shared some updates. So I want to come on here to share those updates with you guys. Then you can watch this video after, right? So for persons who are seeing this for the first time, if you're not aware, Canada has a home caregiver pilot program that they are planning to launch on March 31st, 2025. This is for persons who work in the home caregiving sector. However, they shared some updates this morning, and I want to share that with you guys so you can be aware and you can make preparations. So the first thing, they have now confirmed that there will indeed be two streams, which is something that we basically already knew, but they confirmed today that there will be two streams. So the first stream is they'll have applications for persons who are inside Canada. So that's the workers in Canada stream. And they also have applications for persons not in Canada. So the news to that right now is that for persons who are workers in Canada or who are in Canada currently, you will be able to apply on March 31st, 2025, right? And if you see me looking, it's because I have my notes per usual, so I'm going over those, right? So for persons who are in Canada, you will be able to apply come March 31st. For persons who are outside of Canada, you will be able to apply at a later date. So they have now split the portal into two, essentially. So I don't want persons who are outside of Canada to get dismayed. It more so gives you more time to be able to get yourself prepared, right? So now you have more time to work on getting a job offer. You have more time to work on getting your IELTS done or your CELPIP, whatever that is for you. Plus, you also have more time to work on getting your credentials assessed, right? So that's the major update for right now, is that there'll be two streams, one for workers in Canada and for applicants not working in Canada, which is essentially applicants that are outside of Canada. The persons in Canada will be able to apply first, and also the persons who are outside of Canada, the application date will be announced for you later on, right? So just to give some highlights in terms of the requirements for the program, some of them are pretty much the same. They have added some new details to it, which I really like, and I think persons here will be able to benefit from that as well, right? So, of course, one of the main factors and why a lot of persons are interested in this pathway, it's because it gives you residency, it gives you your PR once you are approved under this program. And it not only gives you, it also gives your family members. So that's your spouse, kids, etc. Right? So it gives them the ability to get this status as well. In terms of the language requirements remain the same. They're still asking for at least a level 4 in English. So you would need to obtain at least a level 4 in IELTS, CELPIP, or PTE Core, any of those. The requirements for education, that also remains the same. They are asking for minimum a high school diploma, right? So at minimum, they're asking for a high school diploma, and somebody's coming in. I don't know if they think I am not live. 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that. All right, perfect. So I was talking about the education requirements, right? So that still remains at minimum, you need a high school diploma. And if you have some sort of certification, etc., that is good. But to know if it will work or not, you definitely need to get it assessed. And I talk about this a lot. You need to get it assessed by WES. There are other institutions that offer this type of assessment, but you definitely want to check them out. But the one that I recommend is certainly WES. The next aspect of it, and this is also a new update with regards to experience, right? So they're still asking for minimum at least 6 months of experience. So you need to have 6 months of experience in the home care giving field, in essence. However, on the flip side, they are now saying if you don't have experience and you have a certificate or some sort of home care training, you can use that as a part of your application. So if you have no experience, but you have the required training and you did this training for at least 6 months or more, then you would still qualify under this program. So I feel like that is major for anyone that's interested in this program, that they don't need the 6 months experience right across the board. You can have relevant experience in terms of not experience. You can have you can have relevant credentials, I should say, sorry, and you would be able to use that as well. And bear in mind, for persons who are in Canada who want to apply under this program, it's not a case where your experience has to be from inside Canada. You can use your experience from your home country to basically apply under this program, right? All right, perfect. So now we go on to the job offer. There are flexible options that are available when it comes on to the job offer, right? So you can definitely work for a private household. And this is something that I talk about a lot as well. An institution or organization doesn't have to be the one that gives you the job. It can literally be for someone like myself. Say I needed some sort of care, or maybe you have a mom or you have a sibling or anyone basically would be able to pretty much provide you with this offer. There are certain criteria, of course, that they have to meet themselves, but I'm just letting you know that you can get an offer from a private household, right? The second the second set of persons that you can get the offer from is like organizations, these that hire like full-time workers or even short-term. They are accepting as well for like home care needs. So you can work in like those what do they call it, the name is not coming to me right now, but like care facilities where you're caring for persons who are semi independent, persons who are completely dependent, maybe they're recovering from an injury or illness, in essence, right? So it can be like a home healthcare service provider. It can be like a home support service provider. You can work for direct care agencies. You can also work for like personal care in residential settings, which I mentioned to you before. And you can also do pediatric home health care services, right? So that's you taking care of children. What they have explicitly stated on their website is that you will not be able to get like a job offer from a recruitment or a placement agency. So they have like a whole bunch of different recruitment agencies here in Canada, right? And sometimes you're working for them, but they put you on assignment like within someone's home or within a care facility. So that type of offer won't work for this in this particular scenario. The offer has to come from like the organization, or it has to come from that individual themselves, right? So allow me to recap. So in terms of eligibility, we mentioned you need level 4 in English, and we can't forget French because some persons are French speakers. So you definitely need level 4 in English. You need what is equivalent to a Canadian high school diploma or higher. And in order to know what is equivalent in your home country, it is a case where you have to get this assessed, right? And we mentioned that you need to have at least 6 months of recent and relevant work experience. And I talked about this before. The experience has to be within the last 3 years to be considered relevant. Even if you're not working right now, as long as you had gained that experience within that time frame, then you would certainly be able to take advantage of the program. And as I mentioned as well, if you don't have the experience, but you have completed caregiving training, and that training lasted for 6 months or more, then you would still be able to qualify under the program, right? And then finally, we have the job offer, and I went through what's required for the job offer to be accepted under this particular program, right? And then a lot of persons ask this question too. It's with regards to LMIA, if an LMIA is required. And for persons who are familiar, you would know what that is. For persons who aren't, it's a labor market impact assessment. And what it is usually when someone here, say a company, is hiring someone from overseas or someone that doesn't have like permanent status here in Canada, they would have to post this job to say, hey, I am hiring for, let's say, a farm worker. And so when they post that, they would then say, okay, nobody applied. So now they go to the government to say, hey, I have a need for 2 farm workers. I posted it for 90 days. I did not get any applicants, or I did not get any quality applicants, whatever that looks like. So I need to hire someone from outside of Canada. And the government, if everything looks good to them, they would approve that LMIA. So that's what the LMIA is. But in this case, and for this particular stream, LMIA is not required, and that is why it's so appealing to a lot of applicants, right? And please bear in mind, just as they shared updates today, even though the program opens on March 31st, they may share additional requirements, right? But this is what they have shared as of today. So as I got it, I am giving it to you, right? And then the next area that they talked about, because if you are somebody that keeps up with immigration news and here in Canada, and even if you don't, I'll tell you. So the Home Caregiver Program, they have many pilots that they have opened over the years. So this is not something that's new to Canada. It has been something that's ongoing. It's a pilot. They open it for some time, close it, open it, get the number of applicants that they want, close it again. That's how it works. So it was previously opened, and the last one ended on June 17th of last year, right? So there were persons who applied under that particular program. At that time, they had 2 streams. So one of the stream was if you had the I'll take questions after. One of the streams is that if you had the 6 months experience at the time, you could go ahead, do your application. If you're approved, you would be given PR. However, they had a second stream, which it doesn't seem like they're coming back with this stream under this new pathway for March, but they had a second stream where if you didn't have any experience, they still allowed you to apply and allowed you to gain the experience. So they would allow you to work for that 6 months. You would be on a work permit, of course, and you'd be able to work for the 6 months and then gain the relevant experience. And once you would have gained it, then you would have been given the opportunity to apply for PR. However, since they closed that program, a lot of persons had their applications still in progress, right? So what they're basically saying for this program, and this part of it is actually currently open, right? So for persons who had applied under the gaining experience pathway last year, they're now saying if you meet the requirement where you now have the relevant experience, where you're at 6 months or more in terms of experience, you can now submit the proof to say that you have this experience, and they would go ahead to continue with the processing. So they're pretty much giving these persons an edge. So they get to submit their proof now in terms of the experience that they would have gained. It's broken down on their website in terms of what to send, what to include in your letter, what to include in your documents, and the proof is submitted through the web form on the Government of Canada's website. So that's a good update for persons who had previously applied under the gaining work experience pathway, right? So the second one, if it's a case where you have never applied under the Home Caregiver Pilot Program or the Home Support Worker Pilot Program, they're saying that you'll still be eligible. You may still be eligible to apply under this particular pathway. That's for persons here, of course, right? And then the third option here, and this is something I think will be big for a lot of persons who are in Canada, because I do get this question a lot, is what if I'm here in Canada, but I have no status? So you're literally here in Canada and you are someone that has experience like providing care and you're a home care worker in essence and you're without status in Canada, they're saying you may be eligible to apply under this new policy, but they're saying it's only a limited number of spots that would be available. They did not give a specific number. They just said there would be a limited number of spots. So if you are someone that's in that position, or you know someone that's in that particular position where they're here, they have that experience, but they don't have any status, then you can definitely let them know that this is what the government is saying as of today, which I think is really good for persons who are in that particular sector, right? So that's the main updates for persons who are looking to apply under this program, both persons inside Canada and both persons outside of Canada. And if you have been kind of keeping up, when it was just announced and they had it opened for everybody to basically apply, right? I think a lot of persons who are in Canada here and would want the opportunity, there was a lot of outcry in essence where they're saying, oh, we're here and we're working and we don't have a pathway to PR, but you're accepting persons from outside. So I think a lot of that may have went into them making that decision and sharing the update today to say that, okay, let's give persons who are already in Canada the opportunity to apply first, and then at a later date we'll announce the date for persons who are outside Canada, right? So I think some of their decision making may have stemmed from that, right? So for persons who are in Canada and say you're here and you have that experience, then it would be your time to take your language test. I talk about this a lot too. I talk about taking either IELTS, CELPIP, or PTE core. In terms of, persons always say, which one is better? There's no better. It's just at the end of the day, take a look at how the three of them are set up. PTE core is relatively new, but IELTS and CELPIP have been around for some time. So you can take a look at how the testing is set up and see which one you feel most comfortable with, right? And then the second piece would be to get your education assessed. And of course, you can do that by utilizing WES, right? And for persons who are outside of Canada, there are definitely still options to apply to companies that offer sponsorships directly, right? As well as they will be announcing a date for when persons outside of Canada would be able to apply under the pathway, right? So I'll pause there for a second. I know that someone said they had a question. I have a question. Is this a sponsorship program? So for the home caregiver program, no, it's not sponsorship. You receive the job offer from the employer, and then persons are able to apply under the pathway. What are the requirements? Is flights catered for? So with regards to flights being catered for, that would be a case by case situation. So it would be dependent on what type of arrangement you have with your employer, right? And I talk about the requirements in this video. It's a live, but I'll save it so you'll be able to watch it again for sure. You're welcome. Perfect. So those are the updates, as I mentioned, For the Home Caregiver Pilot Program, it's still on for March 31st, 2025. There will be two streams. You'll have workers in Canada and applicants not in Canada. Persons who are in Canada, you'll get the opportunity to apply on March 31st, 2025. There is special provisions that may be in place for persons who are in Canada but have this experience or are working in this field, but they don't have any status. There potentially seems to be options that would be available to you to apply under the program, but they did say only a limited number of spots will be available, right? And under this pathway, for persons who apply and are approved, you are given your residency status. So you become PR, and any of your family members that you have on your application will be given the same status as well, right? So that's the update that I wanted to come on here and share. As soon as more information is provided or shared by the government, of course, I always ensure that I get the information out to my audience, and you guys can leave any questions, comments, concerns in the comment section. And if you are subscribed to my channel, you know that I live in the comment section. So I will definitely respond to any questions that you guys have, or if you want to connect with me one-on-one, the link is in my bio, and you can definitely do that. The link will also be down below this live as well too, so you can definitely click on that to connect with me one-on-one. So that's the update that I wanted to come on here and share. Thanks so much for watching. Please stay tuned for any further updates. As I said, once I know, you guys will know too. I almost tripped trying to rush to YouTube to come and tell you guys. But yeah, so stay tuned. I'll share more as I have the details. Talk soon. Bye.